We're going to take a look at the basic shapes tool. Now, where you find this basic shapes tool is on the sidebar over here. This is our toolbar. Okay, we want to make sure we distinguish between the toolbar and our properties and our layers tabs. So our basic shapes are located right here. Now, depending on what your last tool used is what shape will pop up. So right now it's the star. A lot of times it'll default to the rectangle. But if I right click on this star, notice it pops up the rectangle tool, the rounded rectangle, the ellipse, the polygon tool, and the star tool. So I'm going to start with the rectangle tool. And what you can do, there's two ways you can do this. You can click and hold, or you can click once and determine whatever the width and the height is for your rectangle. So if I do 1.5 by 3, it makes that rectangle exactly that size. If I do a rounded rectangle, it curves the corners. If I do an ellipse tool, I can make an oval, or if I want to get a perfect circle, what I need to do is I need to hold down the shift button. As I drag, it keeps everything in proportion. All right. The same thing goes for the rectangle tool. If I don't hold shift, I can make a rectangle, but if I hold shift, it makes a perfect square. The polygon tool always defaults to 6 sides, right? I believe I have more than that because I was playing around with Illustrator before this, so it defaulted to whatever the last number of sides that I used. So I click, it says if I click once, it allows me to adjust the number of sides I'm going to do. So I'm at 12 right now. I'm going to drop it back to 5. Okay, then I can determine my radius as well, which I'm going to do 3. So it gives me the number of appropriate sides that I chose and whatever the radius is. So that's our polygon tool. If I use the star tool, again, I can click and hold. This one, I have multiple points on here. Again, I was playing around with it before, so whatever the default is what I last entered. This comes in handy for when you want to do like a landscape, maybe make a sun. All right, you can color this in yellow, and it turns out really nice. With the star tool, again, I can just click once. I can adjust the number of sides. So there I had 65. Let's bring that back down to 5, 6. All right, and it gives me a star of that size. So a lot of different things you can do. Again, when you're using this tool and you want to maybe make this star bigger or smaller, you can click and hold on the corners. And now, normally, if you click and hold on corners and say something like Google Docs or Word, it'll keep it in proportion. The only way you keep things in proportion in Illustrator is you hold the shift button. So hold the shift, keeps everything in proportion.